Hey everybody, Smart Silver Stacker here, and today I'd like to discuss investing in physical silver versus investing in silver stocks. I'd like to cover some of the benefits of the different types of investments, as well as the downsides that each different type of investment can have and what some of the risks are. Now, first of all, let me say this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my thoughts on the matter, and I'd be curious to know yours as well. So if you're watching, please leave a comment below and let me know what you think of the video and also what type of silver investments you like and why. So that being said, let's start with physical silver. So we all like physical silver if we're silver stackers, coins, bars, any kind of physical bullion you can hold in your hand. The primary benefits of physical are, of course, that it is physical. You can hold it in your hands, you can keep it in your possession. It's not a number in a computer. It's not subject to any kind of counterparty risk. If somebody else defaults on some debt or obligation they have, it's not going to affect the value of the physical silver that you hold in your own hand. And that is the primary benefit. Physical silver is an asset that can insulate you from shocks to the financial system and the global economy, whether it be a recession, a depression, a currency crisis, a bankruptcy, any kind of cascading series of defaults throughout the financial system. None of that is going to change the silver that you hold in your hand. That is the main reason, in my opinion, to hold physical silver. Those are the scenarios in which having physical silver as opposed to a stock or some other type of paper or derivative asset related to silver is going to be beneficial. So that being said, the downsides of physical are pretty obvious. If you want to sell it, you have to transport it somewhere to whoever's purchasing it. You need to protect it. You need to store it. It's heavy. You've got to move it around. Especially for a significant investment in silver, it can become pretty cumbersome. That is one of the downsides of investing in physical silver. As for silver stocks, some of the primary benefits of those are that you can get leverage to the price of silver. So for example, if you buy the stock of a company that mines silver, as the price of silver goes up, the price of that company, assuming it's well managed, and it's doing a good job of producing silver and selling it for a profit, the stock price will probably go up more than the metal itself. You may also be able to receive cash flow in the form of a dividend from a mining company. You basically will be able to invest as much as you want in a mining company without having to worry about any kind of storage consideration. So if you want to invest $1,000 in a mining company, it's just as easy to invest that as it is to invest $1 million in a mining company. You just buy the stock, that's it. So it's very convenient and easy to do. Same thing, at least for large mining companies that are traded on a large exchange. They're very liquid, should be able to sell the stock very easily. There's going to be buyers out there for it, assuming that the stock market is functioning normally. And of course, there's other types of stocks you could invest in as well to get exposure to the price of silver. You could buy an ETF like SLV. That is just a stock that isn't a company, it's just a fund that tracks the price of silver. The way they do this is they buy physical silver and then they issue shares of the ETF. ETFs are good for trading the price of silver, anything in the short term. It's much easier to buy 1,000 shares of SLV and then sell them a week later than it is to buy 1,000 ounces of physical silver and then sell the 1,000 ounces of physical silver the next week. You're not going to be paying any premium. You're not going to be paying any shipping. If what you're looking to do is buy some silver and then sell it quickly for a profit once the price moves up, an ETF is a great way to do that. I probably wouldn't hold an ETF like SLV for the long term. For that, I would much prefer to have physical silver, because if you read the prospectus of some of these ETFs, I'm not sure how great the long-term prospects of the ETF is. You know, some of them are doing things like selling silver to pay for their expenses. The silver that the fund holds is not allocated to any individual holder of the ETF shares. So if there was some sort of systemic problem with the markets, some kind of financial crisis, and the price of silver was driven sky high as a safe haven, I'm not sure that people who hold shares of the ETF will be able to get their money out. I'm not sure that the ETF will have enough silver to liquidate it to meet all their obligations to their shareholders. For long-term holding and for that insurance policy that you want from precious metals, physical silver is probably going to be a better option than something like an ETF. Another type of stock you could invest in to get exposure to the price of silver is a precious metals streaming company, something like Wheaton Precious Metals or Franco-Nevada. And what those companies do is they give an upfront cash payment to a mining company, someone who produces silver. In exchange for that, they get silver on a regular basis, so they can negotiate different deals with mining companies. But one of the good things about a streaming company is they're going to pay you a dividend, so you're going to get a cash flow from owning that stock. And also it's going to diversify your risk. It's going to be a little less risky than holding pure silver mining companies, because they're going to be having contracts with different miners, probably going to lock in some rates when they make that agreement. So they're going to be a little more insulated against the fluctuations in the metals prices. It could potentially cap some of your gains. If there was a big run up in the price of metals, the miners might do a little better than the streaming companies, but that's not for sure either. No telling who might benefit the most from the metals going up. Probably depends on various market conditions. But you can always do a precious metal streaming company if you're looking to invest in a stock that gives you exposure to the price of silver. Another feature of investing in silver stocks is that you'll be able to get additional leverage to the price of the metal, either through margin, meaning you can borrow money to buy shares, or you can use options. If you're not familiar with options, that's outside the scope of this video, but you can look on Investopedia and read about those. If you wanted to trade options on the price of silver, an ETF like SLV would probably be a good vehicle to do that with. So basically, to sum it up, physical silver is the most secure form of silver investment. You have the investment in your own possession. Those same features can make physical silver a little bit of an inconvenience. They can make it difficult to invest in very large quantities of silver. And they also make trading or selling and liquidating the asset more difficult, because you have to actually physically transfer the metal to a buyer. And for stocks, it's kind of the opposite. They're extremely convenient to buy. You can trade options on them. You can use margin. You can get leverage to the price of silver. If you're holding a stock in the right company, you're going to be paid a dividend to hold it. So some of the profits of the company will be passed on to you in the form of a dividend. They can generate yield, which is something that physical silver won't do for you. It's very convenient to buy and sell stocks and equities. It's very easy on a computer. You can do it with the touch of a button. You can trade them from your phone. So very easy to buy and sell them, move in and out of the market. And the downsides, of course, are that stocks are subject to many more risks than physical bullion. There's a lot of counterparty risk. You have to worry about a company being mismanaged. You have to worry about people defaulting on their obligations. You have to worry about a currency crisis or a stock market crisis. The money is basically just ones and zeros in computers. Any kind of systemic collapse, and it's possible that you could lose your entire investment, whereas with physical silver you're holding in your hand, that's not going to happen. Anyway, those are just a few of my thoughts on the subject of physical silver versus silver stocks as an investment. Please let me know what you think. Let me know where you think I'm wrong or where I'm right on the money. Let me know what your thoughts are on the different types of silver investments and what you like to invest in and why. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter @StackSmarter.